Okay, great. Thank you so much, everyone who is online right now. I think काफी लोगों ने हिंदी की भी रिक्वेस्ट की हुई है, so I'll try to keep a mix of Hindi and English both for this webinar. शुक्रिया फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, थैंक यू सो मच वेबिनार पे आने के लिए। ये वाला और स्पेशल है क्योंकि ये दिवाली का लास्ट वीकेंड है, तो या तो पीपल आर एक्सट्रीमली बिजी विद द लास्ट मोमेंट प्रेशर, वर्क प्रेशर, और you are already in your vacation mood. So in both the cases, you joining the webinar means a lot. So thank you so much for that. I'll be putting up the agenda for the day, and that will set the tone for the event. So the agenda is pretty much straightforward. हम लोग पहले थोड़ी की अपडेट्स की बात करेंगे अबाउट द ओपीगो ऐप, अबाउट आवर कम्युनिटी, द मार्केट, एंड देन वील किक स्टार्ट द वेबिनार. We'll then discuss the main three mistakes that we have on the agenda today. After that, हमारा एक Q&A session रहेगा where we have received I think 100 plus questions from our users during the invite. So उस पे से हम थोड़े handpick question answers करेंगे, and then finally the conclusion. एक special gift है आप लोग के लिए, so end तक रहिएगा, and let's I think we can start now. ग्रेट. सो हम सब ओपी को यूज कर रहे हैं. दिस वेबिनार इज स्पेशली फॉर ओपी को यूजर्स एंड नो वन एक्सटर्नल. सो आई थिंक एवरीवन इज अवेयर ऑफ हाउ द ऐप इज, क्या फीचर्स है क्या नहीं है. मुझे काफी रिक्वेस्ट्स आए हैं कि ये गिफ्ट कार्ड के रिगार्डिंग जो वॉलेट रिडेम्पशन है उसका भी क्या अपडेट है, एंड इट इज वेरी लाइक आई मीन इट इज गोइंग टू बी लॉन्च्ड वेरी सून. बेसिकली हो रहा क्या है कि सबके पास अभी वॉलेट बैलेंस आ गए हैं, एंड टू रिडीम दैट वी आर पार्टनरिंग विद ब्रांड्स. उनके आप गिफ्ट कार्ड्स रिडीम कर पाओगे, वेर सम पोर्शन यू विल पे, सम पोर्शन वी विल पे. एंड हमारा डिपेंडेंसी अभी ब्रांड्स के ऊपर बहुत है, उसके वजह से डिले आ गया. मुझे काफी सारे व्हाट्सएप भी आए थे कि ये गिफ्ट कार्ड का भी एक कुछ क्लैरिफिकेशन देना. सो वो काफी जल्द हो जाएगा, एंड हमारा पूरा नया ऐप रिवैम्प होने वाला है. हमारा पूरा एक नया यूआई यूएक्स लॉन्च होगा, तो और सिंपल कर रहे हैं ऐप को, काफी सारे फीचर्स बढ़ा रहे हैं, एंड काफी हमारे सब्सक्राइबर्स के लिए और एक्सपर्ट्स भी ऐड होने वाले हैं. अभी आई थिंक हमारे पास 7 एक्सपर्ट्स है, तो वो काफी बढ़ जाएंगे. हम लोग ब्रोकर इंटीग्रेशन के ऊपर भी काम कर रहे हैं, सो आपका बाइंग सेलिंग पार्ट थोड़े इंटरेस्टिंग वे में वो भी ऐप में आ जाएगा. एंड एक बड़ा रेफरल एंड रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग प्लान भी हम लॉन्च करने वाले हैं नेक्स्ट मंथ में. और काफ़ी लोग की रिक्वेस्ट थी कि एफ-एंड-ओ और म्यूचुअल फंड्स के बारे में भी आप थोड़ा बताइएगा, बट वो भी हम कंसिडर कर रहे हैं कि ईयर एंड तक मोस्टली वो भी हम इंटीग्रेट हमारे प्लेटफ़ॉर्म में कर देंगे. सो दैट इज़ विद द ओपीगो अपडेट्स, एंड अ लॉट ऑफ एक्साइटमेंट. लाइक मैं अभी हम अभी जो आप ऐप में देख रहे हो, आई थिंक वो 10% भी नहीं है जो हम प्लान कर रहे हैं लॉन्च करने के लिए. सो द जर्नी इज़ वेरी लॉन्ग, एंड इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी वेरी एक्साइटिंग. So now the main million dollar question is that what are the three mistakes? Today we in India today, the whole idea of launching OPGO was to target the audience. हमारा टारगेट ऑडियंस मेनली वो थे जिनको जिन्होंने सोचा है कि हम स्टॉक से पैसे कमा सकते हैं. सबको कमाना है, पर किसी के पास टाइम नहीं है, किसी के पास लेट्स से रिसर्च करने का टाइम नहीं है, और रिसर्च करना आता भी नहीं है. उसका मतलब ये है कि आप स्टॉक्स में से पैसे नहीं कमा सकते, नहीं. उसका एक हमको एक आसान तरीका लॉन्च करना था विद द पावर ऑफ कम्युनिटी एंड सेबी रजिस्टर्ड एक्सपर्ट्स. सो द होल आइडिया ऑफ लॉन्चिंग ओपीगो वाज टू सिंप्लीफाई योर एंटायर फ्रेमवर्क. बट इन द एंटायर हैसल ये सब में से वी एंड अप मेकिंग सम वेरी बेसिक मिस्टेक्स व्हिच आई वांटेड टू हाइलाइट एंड गिव अ डायरेक्शन टू. सो we will be deep diving into these three key relevant mistakes one by one. So the first mistake is, I want to introduce you to the NASA plan. A lot of you don't have a NASA plan. And what does that mean? Basically, whenever you want to invest your money, or you want to, at least get started off with, or you want to reshuffle your portfolio, whatever it is, you need to have a set of rules that you have defined. All of us usually play blind. किसी ने बताया हमने ले लिया, किसी ने बताया ये करना है हमने वो भी कर दिया, और किसी ने कहा कि वो नहीं करना है हमने वो बेच दिया. So our entire decision making revolves around people, but without a plan. We usually end up following other people's plan, and it becomes very important that you have your own NASA plan. So what is this NASA plan is what we'll be discussing in the next slide. So to decode this, ये NASA plan, I think ये webinar खत्म होगा, इसके 30 minutes में आप आपका खुद का ये plan कर सकते हो, and at least आप you will become a better trader than you were before this webinar. It's very easy to execute, it's very simple, and let's break it down step by step. So there are four parts, N, A, S, A to it. So the first N stands for the number of stocks. Have you decided that, okay, in your portfolio, we have an assumption that your portfolio is between short term, medium term, and long term. So your direct equity portfolio is divided in three parts. This is implied. And the first question is, do you have you decided the number of stocks that you will keep in each of these three categories? So let's say I've given an example over here. हमारे case में short term means few weeks, medium term means few months, and long term means few years. Very simple. First thing, decide, take out a pen and paper and decide that how many stocks you will keep in your short-term portfolio. For example, you decide that मैं 5 stocks at a time ही रखूंगा मेरे शॉर्ट टर्म पोर्टफोलियो में. अगर एक बेचा तो मैं और एक ऐड करूंगा, नहीं तो नहीं करूंगा. 5 से मैं ज्यादा एक्सीड करूंगा ही नहीं. Decide that. Do the same for your medium term, and again do the same for your long term. This is your first starting point of your NASA plan. And this will also ensure that your portfolio never crosses X number of stocks. This way, you will have a great control over what stocks you are entering in, which stocks you are supposed to track, and just stay out of the clutter because there is lots of information out there, but you have to narrow down your research. So the first step is to fix the number of stocks. If I ask you right now कि आपको मालूम है आपके शॉर्ट टर्म में आप मैक्स मैक्स आप कितने अभी स्टॉक से और आप कितना रखना चाहोगे? नहीं, जीरो क्लैरिटी रहेगा. So first thing is just decide the number of stocks. Second point is the amount in each stock. I want you to decide the amount that you plan to invest in each stock in each category. Just decide it. So what will happen is essentially with these two steps, your overall investment amount gets captured. So आपके पास अगर suppose 10 lakh है, first decide the number of stocks because that should be your first deciding factor, and then you link the investment amount in each of these stocks. मैंने यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल के लिए कुछ लिखा हुआ है कि 10,000 rupees in each short term stock, same for medium term, and I will put 15,000 in long term stocks. So इससे आपका एक पोर्टफोलियो का वैल्यू फ्रीज हो गया, आपके नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक्स फ्रीज हो गए, एंड आपका पोर्टफोलियो अभी वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड भी ऑटोमेटिकली हो गया. यू डोंट अगर एक स्टॉक में कुछ न्यूज आता है कि द कंपनी इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग, एनीथिंग नेगेटिव हैपेंस, you are very well secured across time frame categories. So these two steps are very crucial in deciding the plinth of your direct equity portfolio. Then comes the stop loss. Decide कि short term के category में अगर मेरा stock, if my stock goes 5% in loss, I'm going to sell it no matter what. If my medium term goes 10%, I'm going to sell it no matter what. And 20% for long term. And these numbers are just for example. Everyone has a different, risk appetite and perception towards the market. So that is going to vary. This is just for example purpose that I'm saying over here. Decide the stop loss. कि मेरे शॉर्ट टर्म में 5% डाउन गया, आई एम गोइंग टू सेल इट नो मैटर व्हाट. अगर मेरा कंपनी का प्रमोटर मेरा दोस्त है, डजंट मैटर. इफ यू स्टार्ट फॉलोइंग द रूल्स, इट बिकम्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू ट्रैक एंड एग्जीक्यूट. So now that you have the stop loss also planned, next comes is the average profit that you are going to make per trade. So क्या profit touch होगा कि मैं वो stock बेच देने वाला हूँ, वो भी you have to decide. Just put it down, write it down on a pen and with a pen कि आप ये numbers है मेरे. So now to revise, now you know the number of stocks that will be there in your portfolio, the amount that you are going to put in each category, the stop loss that you can bear for each category, and the profit. Your entire stock broking app, whatever it has to be configured with these rules. And trust me, this will simplify your investment journey a lot. I know so many traders, staying in my area. I mean, they have been just trading all their life, and they have made a living out of it, and they are just regular people like you and me. उन्होंने ट्रेडिंग करके, इट्स जस्ट देम, उनका लैपटॉप है, उनका स्टॉक ब्रोकर है, दैट्स इट। दे आर जस्ट ट्रेडिंग फॉर देमसेल्व्स एंड दे हैव मेड अ लिविंग। उन्होंने घर खरीदा है, उन्होंने 2 गाड़ी खरीदी है। अ, बच्चों के एजुकेशन, शादी, सब ओनली फ्रॉम ट्रेडिंग। And on the other side, we keep listening to news that says that 90% traders lose money, which is a fact. But why? Because they don't have a mechanism. They simply, they listen to someone and they go for it. They don't know what they are doing. They don't have mental clarity whenever they buy or sell a stock. So people who trade for a living, they have such frameworks ready and they just follow them, and they don't even get carried away by anything that happens outside of their framework. So this basic framework and understanding will keep you very confident throughout the investment journey. So this is the first mistake of not having a NASA plan. Now the second mistake is, I think majority can relate to, is not having a valid research source. So what technically happens over here is we find a random source and we कोई आपको कहता है कि क्या आप ये स्टॉक लेना चाहिए, ये स्टॉक ले ले, डबल होने वाला है। सो चलो सोर्स तो मिल गया, अभी हम लोग उसको वेरीफाई कैसे किया? हम लोग ऐसे पूछते कि पक्का? कि श्योर है? क्या बात कर रहा है? तू कॉन्फिडेंट है ना? तू कॉन्फिडेंट है तो मैं डालता हूँ। This is our verification. This is how we verify that people who is are giving us advice have a track record, which is a very bad practice. And this is one of the main reasons also why we started OPGO. So to understand the available sources in the market, कि आप if stock recommendation कहाँ-कहाँ से आ सकते हैं? So 3 जगह से आ सकते हैं. First is that you are the main, self research guy. Like you do the stock research, you use research tools and platforms, read books, news reports, attend company calls, and then you generate your own recommendation. Great. If you have the capability, go for it. That is entirely in your control. No comments over there. That is the first part. And let me tell you, a very low number of population falls in this category. Your second is social media. So when I say social media, it includes your friends, your family, your trusted friend sources, whatever, the online influencers that you follow, or the random Telegram channels that you follow, or non-regulated ones. So you start getting recommendations from there. Now, essentially, what happens is that before I started OPGO, we had done a survey as to, let's say, like, how do people, choose their stocks? So let me tell you, 76% belong to this category, social media. So they only want to follow their friends and families. That's it, and a little bit of online help here and there. Rest, everyone, you know, a very small proportion was there in self research, but majority were friends and families. So this dependency on random sources and not verifying them. So that's why we started off with our community section where chalo problem nahi hai. If you want to follow your friends and families, no problem. Come over here. Uh, we'll make a platform where people can just predict. So let's firstly gather them, कि सबको इकट्ठा करके let them predict and let the platform score you based on your predictions. So now that we have a complete tracking of who is saying what and how are they performing. So before even you attempt to follow anyone, you have complete mechanism of what you are doing, and that is your second source is social media, and which our community is kind of trying to solve in a very trusted format. Your third source can be that you simply follow registered experts. That I don't want to do self research. I don't know people. I don't have friends and families. I will simply pay someone. They will tell me what to buy, what to sell, and I will simply follow them. So the issues over here is that you need to first check online that where are the experts and whether they are actually having the license or no. Then you again need to check their track record and then subscribe to their services if it fits in your budget. Or maybe you can use aggregators like OPGO. I mean, we have launched our subscription service where we have partnered with experts, handpicked them, and put them in different categories of long term, short term. So for users, it becomes easy to just choose the category and start getting recommendations. So these are the three available sources. The second mistake that we make, so coming back to our topic, the second mistake that we make is that we don't have fixed sources and neither they are verified. So out of the three, out of the entire ecosystem defined, आपके पास अभी एक framework तो आ गया है. You have the NASA plan now. बट नासा प्लान आ गया, नाउ व्हाट यू नीड इज स्टॉक रिकमेंडेशंस, स्टॉक के नाम, क्या खरीदना है, क्या बेचना है, कब खरीदना है, कब बेचना है। सो वो लेने के लिए you have these available sources, check them, vet it yourself, and let the stock recommendations come in. So now you have a plan, now you have stock recommendations. The combination is going to now start make you trade and invest. So the first two mistakes that we discussed is mechanical and are interlinked with each other and can be automated. But the third mistake that cannot be automated and it depends more on you is the no cognitive emotional control. So what does this mean? Basically, today, how much ever rules you set, how much ever good people you follow, but if your friends tell you कि कितना कितना कमाया तू, and you say मेरा मैं ये आज बस ये मन तो अच्छा था, इतना मैंने 5-10% कमा लिया, and your if your friend says कि अरे मैंने तो 20-25% कमा लिया, and you start questioning your decisions, your framework, your sources, everyone, because we don't like to uh, 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 get hit by the opportunity cost, and this is a very big reason why we start taking decisions emotionally, and this is very toxic for your entire investment and trading journey. There are many emotional reasons that can bring down your portfolio, but I've tried to list down the top four that I feel that you guys can relate to. First one is holding on to losses. If you are someone who has invested in a stock और वो stock down गया है, but you still refuse to sell because of some emotional attachment, or you feel कि नहीं, जिसने मुझे बोला ये लेने के लिए, he is still confident, उसने बोला कि ये होने वाला है, ये होने वाला है, अब तक हुआ नहीं है, but in that hope you just hold on to the stock. This is the most common mistake which everyone make, and or must have made at some point of time. So holding on to losses is your first emotional situation that you need to declutter from. Second would be your revenge trading. If you make losses, अरे यार ये तो नहीं, मुझे अभी इसको रिकवर तो करना ही है. So you start investing and start entering in new stocks. You start buying, you trade more, you become more active, and in an attempt to that you will recover everything. So this is the second big mistake that many people make, and your capital erosion begins. So revenge trading is also something you need to be extra careful of. Third would be FOMO on high returns. As I mentioned, if your friend has made 20% but you made 15%, you will now start following more and more people, or you, because you want to beat that return कि आपसे कैसे मिस हो गया. But you're not understanding, whenever someone tells you about their success calls, we don't have an entire clarity of how the remaining portfolio has performed. So it becomes very important to have a holistic view. Has he made that return across stocks? कि एक साल तक ये बनाया हुआ है. It is very much possible that you're on an average, on an overall level, you are much higher than him or her. So that clarity we never have, but we only listen about that one success call, and we, the FOMO starts kicking in, and you will then start investing in stocks that don't fit in your NASA plan, and it will ruin everything. So FOMO is something again you need to be very clear of. And the fourth one is very interesting: anchoring to past prices. आई एम श्योर यू विल बी एबल टू रिलेट टू दिस. ऐसा होता है कि कभी आपको किसी ने बताया कि ये स्टॉक है 100 रुपीज में, आप ले लेना, बट देन यू वेट, and now that stock becomes 120, and you are never able to enter that stock because you have seen that 100 price, and now that price, कभी वो प्राइस टच होता नहीं है. सो यू स्टार्ट वेटिंग कि नहीं, वो 100 आएगा तभी मैं लूंगा क्योंकि मैंने वो 100 का प्राइस देखा हुआ. So you miss out on that opportunity. The same happens while selling. If you buy a stock at 100, if it goes to 120 and it again comes down to 95, you will not sell it at 110. Why? Because you have seen that high price कि नहीं वो कभी तो reach होगा. Even though your stop loss hit होता है, आपका अगर ये market crash आ गया, news negative आ गया, but no, you still wouldn't sell the stock because you are attached to the past prices. So this is a very less spoken issue, and ये हम लोग ये experience करते हैं कि जो price देखा हुआ है हमको वही price पे फिर execute करना होता है. So these are some emotional situations that we need to be aware of, and और एक reason है, उसको कहते हैं confirmation bias. उसमें क्या होता है कि if someone has told you that if you have a stock in your portfolio which is not doing great and you don't want to sell it, so you will start asking people के क्या लगता है, क्या लगता है, and everyone are saying, you should sell it. But no, you will keep asking till the time you get to you get your answer. आपको जो सुनना है, जब तक आपको वो एक जन से सुनने को नहीं मिलता है, you will keep asking. So you are just looking for the news from that one person who will confirm. So this is called as confirmation bias, and ये भी हम काफी लोग experience करते हैं कि we just go out to find the positive about the stock that you are having. So these are some emotional controls, and so again, just to revamp the three mistakes that we need to avoid is first was very clear the NASA plan. Just after this webinar, uh, jot down what the parameters will be about your stock, break down your portfolio, एक वैल्यू बनाओ। अगर आप खुद का करते हो तो खुद का करो, आप फैमिली का एक साथ होता है तो फैमिली का एक साथ करो, बट थोड़े रूल सेट करो, उससे आपको मेंटली भी काफी पीस ऑफ माइंड मिलेगा। एंड फिर आपके सोर्सेज ढूंढिए कि आप अल्टीमेटली आप फॉलो किसको करना चाहते हो। इट कैनॉट बी मेनी पीपल, it has to you have to filter it down. So find that, and also इमोशनल कंट्रोल इज मोर ऑफ अ प्रैक्टिस। तो मैंने ये नहीं कहूंगा कि बोला तो अभी, हाँ बोला तो मैं अभी कर दूंगा। नो, इट विल टेक some time, it will take some discipline, but eventually you will get there. And with that, I feel a lot of mistakes, I mean, we all know, but these are some less spoken mistakes that I specifically wanted to cover. And I thought that I'll just come on a quick webinar and catch up with everyone. Also, we have received 100 plus questions, as I mentioned earlier, and we have made an attempt to filter out the relevant questions. So, majority of in fact, today one expert was also going to join us, but due to some medical emergency, they couldn't join. And because of that, we won't be able to take up any stock related or sector related specific questions because only registered experts can comment on that. But never mind, we are also planning to start a weekly catch up with our community members where we'll be discussing the week, because now our community is getting a lot of data, a lot of predictions are happening, a lot of polls are being done, and too much data is coming in. So we want to kind of summarize the entire week's data through a quick webinar catch up. So that would be something that you guys will be intimated about, and keep your notifications on. So that is one way we can reach out to you and inform you about any updates going in. So uh, we have received a lot of similar kind of questions, and we have kind of pulled out the one which can answer the majority. But the NASA plan that I explained, so that plan is kind of answering 60% of the questions that we receive about the strategy, how to look at the stop loss, how to look at the upside, downside, what to do if I'm in loss. So it kind of covers majority of the questions, and the stock related questions will be covered by our experts. We'll ensure that it reaches to your WhatsApp. So I think the first question is market kya lagta hai? And I know it's a very hot topic right now. Everyone has felt the losses in the past few trading sessions, and it's a hot topic right now. So Nifty is at 24,000, Sensex is at 79,000, and I know it's kind of pinching, but it was expected. I mean, I don't know if it's a shocker to you guys, but it's definitely not a shocker for me. From the 52-week high, we have just corrected 9%. So right now, if you see that correction from the 52-week high is 9, on an average, it's 9%. And at stock level, you must have taken a hit. But uh, in such situations, usually what is to be done is stop buying and stop selling. There is no point in selling and there is no point in buying, because today we don't know whether this correction is going to continue even further, which looks like it's going to still continue. US election is coming, and some state elections are also there. The war news is always been hampering, and the results were very poor this time. So this overall the sentiment is looking down. So usually, if you still want to enter at stock specific level or sector level, usually what I used to follow is the uh, 25x rule. Over here, what happens is if I am having, let's say, 1 lakh rupees to invest, and if the market corrects by 2.5%, I invest my 20%. If market, goes up or down, this includes up or down both. If it again goes up or down by 2.5% index, I again put my 20%. That is an indication of where the market is heading. And eventually, over the in 5 tranches, you will end up investing your amount. So in this way, this is the best you can do in terms of timing the market and also getting a good average in whichever trend the market goes. So at least you remain invested, but not at one price. So market, yeah, definitely is dicey, and I think it's wait and watch for our subscribers also. A lot of you know uh, exit calls were triggered. I mean, the system is made in such that if it hits the price even by 1 bip, the system will directly alert the users to exit the stock. But however, many stocks, have bounced back after it hit the exit call. So the ones who didn't choose to sell the stock, they must have, booked some profit over there. But yeah, lot of stocks have been, we have gone downside and we are aware of it, but this wasn't really in our control. And but what we can only ensure is that the companies that were recommended are very solid, and they were research backed by our experts. So holding on to them for a longer time, definitely you will, the losses will be covered up. But if you are supposed to, again, as I explained the NASA plan, so if you are going to follow, then it makes sense, operating in that framework only. Second question was very interesting, risk management or accuracy of strategy. So this over here, what I essentially understand is when entering a stock, whether I should be focusing more on the risk, that is the stop loss, or the potential upside that I can expect from this strategy. So in this case, I would say the core philosophy is that whenever you invest in a stock, it is assumed that you want the stock is going to go up. That is the implied assumption कि stock तो ऊपर ही जाने वाला है. कितना नीचे जाने वाला है, that is the only question mark. So my focus would always be on risk management. If you, before entering a stock, if you are very well aware that this is the maximum I can lose, or even if it goes below this, I'm going to sell it. So you're controlling your risk, you're controlling your losses. That should be your first approach, because ऊपर जाएगा वो 10, 15, 20 हो जाएगा, all that is bonus for you. But the only thing that you can control is when to exit, how much risk I should be limiting to for any trade that I enter. So my answer would be that risk management is more preferred over accuracy of strategy. We can buy at good, third question, we can buy at good valuation, but when to sell? So over here, essentially what happens is that whenever you enter a stock, if you know, I had, a few months back, I had put up an Instagram post asking what sounds more, achievable to you, earning 5% in 1 month or earning 30% in 6 months. So what ideally would your answer be? If you had to just make 5%, I mean, that's a brilliant thing. If you can make 5% a month, means you are running at 60% annualized return. It's a great thing. But what sounds more convincing to you is the question. So over here, if you have, I mean, if you can enter at a good valuation, super. But when to sell always is going to be a very big question for traders. So for trading, if you fix कि मेरा 5%, if my stock touches 5% within 30 days, I'm going to sell no matter what, because it is a short term. It is a this is your trading portfolio, and this is your short term investment. So for that, you need to have a rule, as in what is my short term gain that I'm expecting from each stock in the defined time period, which is 30 days in our example. So over here, my answer would be fix the percentage that you want. So, some people for long term, they decide that the moment it touches 30%, I want to book my profits and I will find a new stock. So this discipline won't make you wait कि नहीं ये और बढ़ेगा, ये इसका अभी अच्छा और एक पॉजिटिव न्यूज़ है, ये और बढ़ेगा. उसमें काफी times we don't end up selling the stock, and they only become paper money for us. So putting that again, defining the rule and putting that number will make a lot of sense. Fourth question is, I mean, this question is, many people have asked this question, like, when are we launching F&O? So if we launch F&O, firstly, it would be only for our paid subscription. And the only challenge that we are facing is that over here, the accuracy of a real-time tick becomes very important. And this is possible once we go live with a broker. So once we go live with a broker, F&O will be definitely on the agenda, and it should happen very soon. So you will start getting F&O related, recommendations from our experts as well. Fifth question is, I have lost money regularly from last 2 years, and I want to left it, but I can't. I mean, firstly, I mean, I'm not having any context to this, because if this is in F&O or if it is in stocks. Because if it is in stocks, then ideally you should have made some money. I mean, decent amount of money. But F&O, I mean, it's, I think, the story of every other person. So if this is F&O, then it's not surprising. Uh, I mean, even I don't have an answer to this. But yeah, but if it's stocks and if you're losing, money since the last 2 years, it would be very interesting to know what strategy you're following, who you are following, what kind of stocks you are investing in. And I'm actually very curious about this. So definitely reach out to me or reach out to our helpline, and let's discuss this further, because this looks very, strange and challenging. So I would be happy to share my inputs on that. So with this, there were many stock specific questions which we'll be covering, with our experts in the upcoming webinar. So please hold on to that. And with this, I think I would like to end the webinar. We have almost reached half an hour. So a special gift for everyone. Happy Diwali, first of all. Advance Happy Diwali, and you can use this code for everyone here on the webinar, and you will get a flat 40% off. I think this is the highest discount that we have given till date. So you can use this code and opt for any of our subscriptions. And yes, thank you so much for your time. I hope this session was valuable. I can see that there are some other questions also on the live chat, uh, which we will cover. Uh, yeah, already subscribed, but no stocks given. This usually, so what happens is that now that you have subscribed, you will start getting recommendations whenever our experts feel there is a recommendation to give. So there is no guarantee that every day you will keep getting recommendations, and that kind of spoils the like more quantity spoils the quality. So we do not even put any kind of pressure on our experts. If they feel, if they have the conviction, they will send out a recommendation. But yeah, and if you feel, I mean, any of the our subscribers are already informed, if you feel that you haven't received enough recommendations, just reach out to the team, and that pack will be refilled. So all that is very much manageable. But yeah, so that was on the question from the chat room. Once again, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch, and we'll keep doing such more such webinars to keep the community engaged. And any feedback, any suggestions, you can always reach out to me or the team, and we'll be happy to take this up. Thank you so much. Bye.